Stop motion animation is one of my favorite, if not my favorite form of animation. I think it's a true art form. The fact that it takes so long to shoot one scene, the small details in the sets and characters, it's crazy to think most of it is created by hand. But the other factor in stop motion is its creepy, unsettling feeling, at least for me at least. As a kid, it intrigued me a lot because of that aspect. I made some videos on some other stop motion movies if you want to check them out, links in the description. But in this video I wanted to talk about The Sandman, a stop-motion short movie released in 1991, directed by Paul Barry, who sadly passed away in 2001, so rest in peace. Let's take a look at one of his final works. The film begins with an opening shot of mountains and a nest in a celestial space as we get the title card, The Sandman. We zoom in on this little home in a small city, a mother and her child in the living room. The mother is sewing on her rocking chair, rocking back and forth, as her son is walking in circles playing his drums, specifically a Schoenhut turntable drum. Everything seems normal until the wall clock strikes 8 p.m., announced the little skeleton man hitting a bell. The mother finishes up sewing and collects her son's drums and brings him a candle, sending him to his room for bed. She pushes him out the door, sending him on his way. He takes a couple of looks around in fear. As he makes his way upstairs, he slowly balances up the very tall staircase, watching his steps as he reaches his room. He's still very cautious, looking around. Here we see that this house is just absolutely massive. It's almost like a labyrinth. But finally, he makes it to his room. He gives a sigh of relief. He quickly jumps on his bed, covers his face, and goes to sleep. As he's sleeping, the camera shows us the bright moon reflecting on the young boy, but in the quiet of night, the windows suddenly fling open. As the boy looks in shock, we see the Sandman, who forms using the moon as his nose. He then turns his eyes towards the boy. In an instant, the boy wipes his eyes and looks again, but this time, the Sandman is gone. The boy then hears some noises under his bed. He looks and at first sees nothing, when a rat jumps out and runs off. Relieved, he goes back to sleep. We transition to the rest of the house, specifically in the beginning of the staircase. The Sandman forms out of thin air. He looks around and decides to open a door and slam it shut, alerting everyone in the house, including the mother. He slowly makes his way upstairs, making intentional noises to frighten the boy and keep him on edge. Finally reaching the top, he looks around the top floor. He checks room after room. The boy tries to investigate, but breaks the candle by his bedside. This alerts the Sandman. The boy then jumps back into bed in fear. The door slowly opens as someone approaches his bed. A hand shadow appears over the boy, but it's revealed to be the mother, helping her son and checking in on him. She cleans his mess and kisses his cheek. She leaves the room and lets him return to his sleep. After the mother leaves and closes the door, out of the shadows, the Sandman once again forms from nothing. He takes a quick peek at the door to make sure the mother doesn't return. He then goes up to the boy, tiptoeing around his bed. He makes noises, but the boy doesn't wake up. He prances around the bed, trying to wake up the boy, but he doesn't. He then jumps back and forth over him, causing him some winds to wake the boy up. He repeats it for a short while. As he's waking up, the Sandman picks the sand he has in his hands. The boy then finally wakes up. In shock, he sees the Sandman, but immediately the Sandman throws the sand in the boy's eyes, and in the shadow of the two, we see the Sandman rip out both of the boy's eyeballs. A violent slash after slash. He puts them in a pouch and flies off into the night. We transition to the night sky, and we come to a nest in the same ethereal plane we were in earlier. The Sandman flies into it and clicks his elbows together. We see 3 baby sandbirds. As he reaches into the pouch, we cut back and forth between him and the boy. We then see the Sandman holding the boy's eyeballs, and the boy screamed in fear as he has no eyes. The Sandman then feeds the eyeballs to his children. We cut one last time to the boy, who is now forever blind, ending the film. This was a very interesting short film, so let's start from the beginning. Okay, starting off the film, we get the foreshadowing of the nest, meaning the Sandman uses the eyes of children to feed his own children. Now, when it's time for the boy to go to sleep, it's like the mother knows something bad is coming, and even the boy doesn't seem comfortable with going to bed, which is something unusual. I mean, this happens every night. I believe that the legend of the Sandman haunts that area of children, so they both know that he may or may not appear that night. While the boy is walking up the stairs, we see something in the wall of the shadows. This is the Sandman scoping out his next victim. He probably checks to see how many people are in his house, and if the boy is perfect. Another thing I noticed is the Sandman could have silently made his way up to the boy's room, but instead wanted to build suspense and fear by slamming the door shut and creaking on the stairs back and forth. I want to refer to this comment, specifically this part of it. There's something interesting that I noted regarding the Sandman's unusual dance. From the looks of it, for whatever reason, he is unable to wake his victims directly, such as with his voice or by touching him, so he resorts to indirectly stirring him, both the wind and whooshing sounds of his swift movements. I agree with this take. The Sandman tries to wake the boy up, and at the end it looked like he was going to give up for a little bit, but he decided to stick around because he sensed the boy was finally opening his eyes, and of course he did. As far as the elbow click thing he does, to me it's like a taunt or a gesture. And when the mother comes to check in on him, the Sandman is powerless because of adults' presence. That's why he hid. Now, as if the boy died or not in the end, I believe that he did. As seen in Lifeless, as we go to the credits, his skin is even paler than before. But the bigger question is, was this even real? Well, I think it could go both ways. This all could have been a nightmare in the boy's dreams, or it could have actually happened. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Personally, I think that was a really good short film. I mean, yeah, it had a disturbing ending, the boy died, but I think that's what makes this short film really good. And it left so many questions to the viewers. I want to once again recognize the late Paul Berry, whose work expands beyond this film. There's really good movies like James Giant Peach and The Nightmare Before Christmas. Once again, the original film is in the description. I also want to say thank you all so much for the recent channel support. Over the past 2 months, we've been growing at a great rate. So please, go check out some of my other videos and make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.